Well, right then left. They said right, left. I'd like to welcome everybody to Planning Commission today. This is really loud. There we go. Today is August 8th. It's 6 p.m. and we're going to start. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Anderson, would you lead us in the pledge? All right, let's have a roll call.
Chris Karn.
Sandra Steele.
Brian Chapman.
Kirk Wilkins. Just in time.
Ken Kilgore.
Troy Cunningham.
Bryce Anderson.
All right, and we have a quorum. So we're going to start off with our item number 3. This is public input. Time has been set aside. This is a public meeting for any concerns or ideas or thoughts from public. And we'll open public comment at this time. Okay, given that there isn't any, we'll close public comment and we'll go right into item number 4. This is a public hearing. It's a community plan.
This is a public hearing, was noticed as such, and so there will be time for any public comment on this item. The applicant for this is Steve Bullock for Costco Wholesale. The approximate address is 1100 North Redwood Road. The site you see here in the cross-hatching. The general plan calls this out as planned community mixed use with the zone as planned community. And this particular community plan is approximately 30 acres. It will be done in 2 different village plans. Costco will be Village Plan 1, as you see there, and then Village Plan 2 is has yet to be determined. Another applicant at some point will come in. They'll have to create their own village plan to develop that property. And they have chosen the regional retail neighborhood type from the district area plan. Just some of the landscaping and lighting guidelines we have based on the community plan. Obviously, these are photographs taken of existing Costco's. They will use the similar landscaping treatment. The lighting you see there, that is the lighting that's used in other community plans, notably also the crossing where the Smiths is. It's the same lighting package. They've asked for a bronze color. Smiths is the crossing is champagne. Some of the guiding development standards, the types of materials they will use, preferred primary and preferred accent materials, just examples of the benching, trash, bikes, that sort of thing. Then the open space will meet the minimum 11 to 14% required for the regional retail neighborhood place type. So Village Plan 1 will occupy Costco. There's also a section there you see in blue that could be turned into parking. It could be sold off to a future developer for a pad. They don't know. But there's the option there you see that staff can approve that change should that go to another use there. Instead of parking, you can see they actually have a parking configuration underneath that. The elevations you see here, all 4 sides, this is kind of their materials and color accents that they've been using of late. Grays, the reds, of course, the signage you see here. Costco does not do monument signs or any kind of pole signs. They only do the building. And so the signs you do see on the elevations here is the only signage that they will be requesting. On the fuel island, the landscape plan does, there's a large detention basin you see there on the southeast that will be landscaped. Parking lot landscape and perimeter landscape, and there are some of the areas here you see here. There's park features, there's some bench materials, things like that on these corners here as required for gathering type place within the planned community zone. And the pedestrian bicycle routes, which will be implemented here on the plan. So easy access from sidewalks and those biking. And then staff recommends the Planning Commission forward a positive recommendation onto the City Council for the community plan and village plan with the findings and conditions from the staff report. And of course, you also have the options of a continuance or a denial.
Thank you for your presentation. Is the applicant here? Would you like to come forward and join us? You can come and sit down at the table. And if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Steve Bullock. I work for MG2, Costco's architect. Do you need my address?
It's not necessary.
Okay.
It's okay. Did you want to invite anybody else up with you?
Some other people that we have from our team here. Brian Whalen is Costco's real estate agent, broker that's working on the project. We have our civil engineer. David Anderson has been helping us prepare the village plan and the community plan. And then we also have representatives from SLR here as well.
Okay, perfect. Did you want to add anything to the presentation tonight?
We have been completely through the staff report as provided to us and are in agreement with everything that's in there. We're really excited to start on this and bring a Costco to Saratoga Springs. And at this point, we would be happy to answer any questions you have of us, but I don't know that we need to elaborate on anything that's been shown or stated at this point.
Okay, we'll get into that in just a second, but this is a public meeting, so we're going to open up public comment. If you wouldn't mind just staying here, you can join us until we're done.
Great.
This is a public meeting, so we're going to open up public comment on item number 4, which is community plan and village plan for Costco. Any comments from the public? Okay, given that there isn't any, we will close public comment and we'll open it up to the Planning Commission for comment. Chris Karn.
Thank you for being here tonight. The packet was very clean and it looked like everything complies or can and it's been provided. So I only have one question. Will you have diesel at your island?
It's a great question, and we've actually been discussing it internally just recently. What I understand from the guys that run the fuel facilities for Costco is that diesel for this market is kind of, it's right on the teetering point. Should we do it or should we not do it? And it's not at Lehigh, and so there's a decent chance that they may put it here to kind of serve both, but that decision has not been made final as of yet.
I don't think it's my place as a commissioner to influence that either way. Me personally, and I know a lot of people have asked me to ask you if you're going to have diesel. So, but I appreciate you guys being out here. The whole city's pretty excited, and I don't think I have anything else.
I can pass that on to the fuel group at Costco.
Thank you.
Others?
First of all, you are one of 2 of the most wanted things in this community, so welcome. And we hope that your schedule goes very quickly. I have a few questions. Are all your roof accesses inside the building? Okay. And I've brought this up in our meetings, but your landscape verbiage does not meet what we see in the pictures. And this is what I was mentioning when we looked at the landscape. Do we really want them to do a different color and size and then put a curb in and then put another size and color in and make a curb? Or do we want to see it all in one space with different colored and different size stones? Does anybody, do you all understand me on that?
Would you like to elaborate?
Well, our code says, and they've written their conditions, that they will put a curb for different sizes and colors. In the one pictures, they don't do that. And to me, it's overkill to do that. It looks very nice when you have 2 different sizes and 2 different colors all mixed together.
Which condition are you referring to?
It is on guiding principles in no, in the community plan.
Not a condition in the...
Well, no, but it's, when we approve this, we approve it the way it is. And so I don't know how they feel about it. I'm sure that I haven't a feeling I know how they would prefer to do it.
Are you on page 19 of the community plan? Page 5.
Says, all landscaping areas shall have decorative stone. Stone color and type shall be consistent throughout the village plans. Wood mulch shall be provided around plant material. Edging, excuse me, shall be used to separate different size and color of decorative stone. And you're, Commissioner Steele, you're of the opinion just to have, don't require just two colors, but they can be mixed and not separated?
That would that make life simpler for you?
Maybe.
I think that looks nice, and sometimes, well, for one thing, if kids get in there, you have them all mixed together anyway. So I would be for you not having to divide them by a concrete strip.
Right now, I don't know if we are proposing more than one size and one color of stone. Are we required to?
Well, your text says you will provide, edging shall be used to separate different size and color of decorative stone, so it implies that you're going to have different sizes and colors.
But the first one just says, we shall have decorative stone, and color and type shall be consistent.
Yeah, three just to me, three just implies that you'll have different sizes. I mean, your plan, it's up to you.
Right.
You're writing what landscape standards you want to follow. Maybe we just need to clarify that you'll have two or you'll just have one. I mean, again, it's up to you.
Or if we just plugged an if at the beginning of that, of number 3, and said, if there was going to be multiple sizes, they can be separated.
You don't have to. Your picture shows different colors and different sizes, and I think it might be even the Lehigh one.
I think what Commissioner Steele is trying to say is she wants to be less restrictive.
Right.
So you can do what you want to do, but if you're writing it in your plan, that you have to adhere to it. So
So
you
that
can
being
scratch it out.
That being the case, I think I would prefer to just eliminate number 3.
Okay, do you want to take a note of that? Anybody who's going to be doing a motion? Number 3,
Okay.
page 5. Okay.
And the lighting, I was not sold on champagne-colored lighting, and neither was one of the council. So we did a field trip, and we looked at dark poles and champagne-colored poles. And all of a sudden, we had to eat crow. It does look better if they're not dark. If they're dark, it looks like, as somebody said, it's a warehousing lot that has lighting poles. If they're champagne, they do tend to just disappear. Okay. And I'd like to say that we really would like to see you do champagne. And you'll hear this again.
Yeah, currently the code now calls those bronze, just so everybody knows.
Yeah, and the bronze will be darker. And since Smith's has come in with the champagne and made believers out of us, we'd like to see you do the same.
And what I'd like to do is I'd like to go and talk to our supplier and just make sure that that's something that's available to our standard supplier. If it is, we're more than happy to use that.
You just might want to do that before the city council meeting.
Yes, we will have that answer before the city council.
Okay, thank you. And then the only other thing I was concerned about is on, since this is the community plan, it's on the Village Plan 1. And I'm sure we haven't, or no one's checked with UDOT, but I'm concerned about the access from Redwood Road. We've got a lot of congestion there to start with, and I don't know what your traffic study has shown, but I would be a little concerned about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and do you want to talk about the community plan, or the village plan as well? Or how do you want to do this?
Yep.
You can do both.
Okay. In the north wall, on page 43, and it's 43 of the packet, I think, it shows the elevation that has what looks like a metal box. Is inset metal box, or is it on protruding?
It's,
Protruding.
it's a freestanding structure. It's using some of the same materials that are part of the entry canopy that are emphasizing the entry canopy and the signage on the main south-facing wall, and south and slightly on the east. We're trying to introduce that on the north wall too, but it would be a freestanding element a couple feet in front of the building.
Has any thought been given to putting in vine pockets so that it softens that wall? You have vines growing up and over it?
On those features? They absolutely could.
If everybody agrees, I'd like to require that because I think it does soften walls.
Do you have a code reference for that, Commissioner Steele?
No, they're making their own code.
That is true. I think you're referring to something from our code, though. There is some code in there that talks about breaking up a building.
Oh, yes, but I'll look to you, Dave.
In order to require them to do it, we'd have to have some kind of code.
Well, again, they're writing code, but you're making a recommendation that they add some landscaping elements to is this the north wall? Is that the one? Is this?
North wall is.
Let me pull
what
this over here. So you're looking at,
That.
Right.
And
And I'll talk with our landscape architect. Again, this is something that we'll try to resolve before the city council meeting so that we can say definitively what we're gonna do there. But it should not be an issue for us to design those and to pick a product that's gonna allow vines to climb that as well.
I think it would be an asset.
Commissioner Steele, since you asked, I'm not in favor of making it a requirement, just because if there is some kind of issue with the design standards that they use nationally, I don't want them to be stuck on something that we just decided to make a requirement, but rather at least that they could investigate
all this would
it.
be a recommendation. Then, of course, the council can take that at face value or say, no, we're okay with that. So it would just be in a recommendation.
Sure.
And the walkways on page 15, where you have, because you have a parking lot larger than 75,000 feet, you have to provide a walkway.
Yeah.
How will that be treated? Will it be raised?
The walkway portion?
Yes.
Yes.
It will be raised. How
Or,
wide?
excuse me, no, it's not gonna be raised. We're showing, the one that goes to the east, no, I'm sorry, both of them, they're gonna have wheel stops for the parking stalls, and so the walkways are actually gonna be flush, so that if people are pushing carts, they can push them between wheel stops to get to the back of their cars, things like that.
If it's anything similar to the Costco I go to, it's probably 10 to 12 feet wide.
That's what, then my next question was how wide will it be?
You know, I don't, let me see if, it's pretty wide. From the wheel stops to the actual walkway portion is 2 feet on either side, so there's 4 feet. And then the walkway itself, I think, is probably on the order of 8 feet. So we're talking probably at least 12 feet wide from wheel stop to wheel stop.
Okay. You're going to have less than that because if somebody backs in,
Right.
that's going to take up more. And we do have a code section for this, but since you're writing your own code, it's kind of hazy there. But we normally require that it be a minimum of 10 feet wide and that there be some landscaped islands in that area. And
Yes.
so if it's not going to be raised, which really looks better and serves the purpose better, will you delineate it with markings?
It's going to be done out of concrete versus the rest of the rest of the parking lot's going to be asphalt.
Okay.
And, you know, so it will have scoring patterns in a different color. I thought that we had a landscape detail of that, and that's another thing that I can make sure to bring details on exactly how wide and
And when you say scoring, I'm hoping you are not talking about, pavers that,
no.
because scoring is a problem for the disabled. So.
Right, I'm just talking about the pattern in the concrete. It wouldn't be one continuous slab. There would be actually scoring marks in it that make it look smaller. You know, it's kind of like a sidewalk. You know.
Okay. It's just, I'm real concerned when you talk about a lot of scoring, because if it meets the ADA, then it's acceptable, but most of the time, the scoring is too wide.
Right,
And so we'll,
this will not be. It'll be ADA compliant. Costco is very concerned about rough textured walkways and the potential problems that can cause for their customers and members pushing carts over them and things like that, so.
okay. And then I have one request is, it looks like the landscape plan is calling out locust trees, and there's 3 trees all together, and I can't tell which one's which. I would ask that you consider not using a locust tree as a street tree. Parking lot's fine, but a locust tree as a street tree can cause issues with the roots.
Understood.
And then on Exhibit 13, it has some verbiage that says that this is at the crossing of Pioneer Crossing and Market Street. And I was trying to get acclimated to where it was, and so that seems to be incorrect.
I'm sorry, could you say that, repeat that again for me? I was trying to keep up with my notes for your other comment.
Okay, on Exhibit 13, it says that this is at the crossing of Pioneer Crossing and Market Street, and you're not.
No.
And so that probably should get corrected.
Where's Exhibit 13?
It's in the village plan.
Thank you.
It's on the right side where she's referring,
Thank you.
the right, or the right-hand column under A,
Got it. Yeah, that,
just Redwood Road and Market Street.
Right there.
should we say it's between Medical Drive and Market Street, west of Redwood?
That would give a more accurate description.
Yep.
I'm done.
Okay. Commissioner Kilgore, you were next.
Also, first ask the staff, is the community plan, that's the legislative, is that correct? Or
Both of these are legislative,
Both of them.
community plan and village plan. It's basically, they're requesting zoning
Okay.
text exhibits. So it's a legislative action.
Okay, terrific. So on what page is this? In the engineering report, the city staff engineering report, I don't know what page that is on the, it's the first page, conditions under D, paragraph B. It says that it says that the purpose of Lot 3 hasn't been provided. Is that something the applicant can say what Lot 3 will be used for?
So Lot 3 is not part of our village plan. It's part of the community plan, and it's going to have to comply with the regional, is it regional retail?
Regional retail.
Yeah,
So you're planning to put, there may be more retail shops there, retail business there? Is that what the future plan is?
That's not what Costco's, that's going to be retained by SLR, the
Oh,
seller.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay. All right, so that's why Lot 3 is not in there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks, you explained that. And then on page 17 in the packet, what page is this? I don't use the page numbers of your packet, I just use the larger. Yeah, page 4 of your packet. There's I guess it's part of the legend. It says perimeter open space. It's got a green bar there. But I don't really see any green bars. I was wondering where the perimeter open space is. Is it just really going to be an open space all around the perimeter, or is that what the plan was?
So that's part of our open space. Because this is part of the community plan, we were just identifying that, yes, we're going to have fairly substantial landscape buffer around the perimeter, but then there's still going to be what we do within the site development that's going to ultimately get us to the required 11 to 14%.
Okay, I was just, oh, that one has it. Maybe it just doesn't show up in mine. Okay.
Mine either.
Oh, okay, yeah, so our plans didn't have that green all around it.
Okay.
It was just blank, and that's why I was just wondering, but.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, so it's in there.
Should be in your, on the community plan.
Yeah, mine was blank.
That's community plan, and it's not there.
Yeah, okay.
It's okay, we get it.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's probably just a graphic issue.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that answers it too. Okay, and then 2 pages over, so page 6, I guess. I was wondering if it would be appropriate to mention the phrase clear sight triangle, because I don't see that in any of your plans. And it's something that we do have in our code, and it just, you know, it has to do with safety and
Right.
that kind of thing. I was just wondering if maybe you could add that in there, just comply with the clear sight triangle requirements.
As it refers to driveways and landscaping.
Well, yeah, it's actually access points.
Yes.
And really, it's just about the height of trees
Yeah.
or any other things that you might have in there. And it might be a good idea, because I do see that you have some shrubs and trees. And it's probably not an issue, because I think you've been very careful about security and being able to see things. But we do have that term clear sight triangle. And if you put that in there, it just feels better that you looked at that.
It is a requirement of a standard site plan review when their full site plan does come in, which you would not see because you're basically seeing the site plan here. We would review that and actually require them to show the clear sight triangle and verify that all those plants will be under the 3 foot.
Great, so it's going to be a requirement anyway, so maybe I'm just giving you advanced,
Yeah.
just an advanced suggestion. If you put that clear sight triangle in there, that would help you with the site plan as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
And then as far as village plans, I don't have any other questions or issues, so thank you very much. And same thing, I actually at work have a lot of folks who live in Eagle Mountain, and I always ask them, what would get you to stop and spend money in Saratoga Springs on your way home? And they said Costco. And I think 6 out of the 7 people I asked, they said Costco, so welcome.
Thank you.
Commissioner Carn. You'd wanted to earlier. Okay, any other comments from the Planning Commission? Okay, so let's discuss a couple of things that were brought up. We wanted to point out the clear sight view triangle. We wanted to have a change in there for the location between 2 different streets. We had something about locust trees, walkways. They complied because they were 12 feet, not the 10. We've covered diesel fuel. Wanted to eliminate number 3 on page 5, which is a requirement in there. Champagne lights was a preference. Is that something, that's up to them, that they can choose what they want to do on that one. And we are business friendly, so we'll see how that comes out. And then there was a concern about access to Redwood Road. We're hoping that there's going to be a traffic study for this one, right?
Yes.
Okay, so, and then there's, UDOT will work with you as
Yes.
well about whether you're going to have a traffic light in there or not.
So our desire is at the northeast corner there, the intersection of Medical and Redwood, is that we're going to be installing a brand-new signal at that intersection, and that would become a primary access point for the site. People would turn in there and then come into the driveway there at the northeast corner of the site.
Okay. That's good. And then there was something about vine pockets on the sides of your building. Is there any other commentary from the Planning Commission? I'll entertain a motion. I can help. I'll help you as you make your motion if you'd like. It was page 5, eliminate number 3. Page 5 in the community plan, I believe. Okay. Commissioner
Aye.
Anderson? Okay, gotcha. Did you want to say something?
I don't have all the notes as close as Ken does, so maybe Ken should do it.
Oh.
Go ahead, Ken.
Okay.
I'll make sure we've covered them all.
So what are we doing? Are we doing just the community plan? Both?
Yes.
Okay. I moved to recommend approval of the Costco Community Plan and Village Plan with the findings and conditions in the staff packet, as well as adding the elimination of number 3 on page 5 of the community plan
With regards to rocks.
with regards to rocks.
Was there any others you wanted to do?
No, I think those are all suggestions and requests.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second from Commissioner Carn. Any question on the motion?
Yes.
Commissioner
Suggestions ought to be put in there too, so that the council knows what we talked about.
No, okay. Then,
would you
I
like
think
to amend your
I think
motion?
the suggestions will be in our minutes. won't
Yeah,
they?
they will be in the minutes. If you're not, I mean, suggestion and recommending to change are different, but the council will get your minutes, and they will read them.
Okay, there's one other thing, the locust tree.
We did mention that.
Okay,
I mentioned that. I reminded us.
I don't think it was in the,
It
It was not in the
Not in the
motion.
motion, it's a suggestion.
It was a suggestion.
well, it's in our code too.
no?
I would say we ought to recommend on this to the council, the and I was trying to get everything written down, the vine pockets and the champagne and the locust, that they not use the locust on the streets, and all of those would be recommendations that would go to the council, and then they can decide whether we're out in left field or whether they want to agree with us.
Well, and
Isn't this whole thing a recommendation?
Yes, that's what I thought.
So
I mean,
if we
the
were
whole
to do that,
motion's-
I would be okay with the locust trees. But again, with the, when it comes to the architectural design or the lamps, it really does depend on what they have approved in their supply. So I don't know if a recommendation to the city council really makes any difference if we've already made the suggestion to the applicant.
Commissioner Kilgore, it is your motion. If you choose to amend it, that is up to you.
Well, I could, I can amend it to add the locust trees application or request, but the other two, again, I think we've made this a suggestion, and then it's up to Costco if they can even approve that, because it's part of their purchasing and all the other things that they have to go through. And it's a national, national standards that they have as well.
So to clarify, in your motion, you have a suggestion to the city council to review the locust trees, and I think the original suggestion talked about not having them on the street.
Yeah.
Is that what you want?
Yes.
And does our second,
But
Agree
Dave,
to excuse me?
does the city code apply to this area of the DAP when it comes to the trees and what's located where?
The DAP doesn't get into the specifications of trees, but the code, our landscaping code will dictate certain types of trees. Some are good for street trees, some are not. Some are good next to sidewalks, some are not.
So the code says that they cannot have locust trees next to the street.
I'll take Commissioners, I'd have to look it up. I'll assume that that's correct, but I mean, if it's part of the recommendation to have the council, we recommend they eliminate locust, that's your recommendation.
Okay.
It's not eliminate them, but eliminate
From
them
the
from
street tree,
trees.
street tree.
They're fine in the parking lot.
If that's stated in the code, then I will amend my second.
I don't think it's stated in the code.
Okay, so the second has been updated as well. Any other questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, and we'll be eating hot dogs soon.
Absolutely. We'll try to get it open as quick as possible.
I'm sorry, I did have a request here. Go ahead.
Do you have any timeline that you're looking at?
What we're trying to do is get on site this fall to do some rough grading of the site, and then start in earnest on the site and the building stuff next spring, and open at the latest by end of August. We'd like to be open even earlier than that. There's a lot of off-site improvements that are required here. A brand new road for medical, and then exchange on our west, and a bunch of public utility trunk lines that are going in as well. So there's a lot of work to be done. And